Hi everyone, welcome again. It's Gina. Okay, so today I thought I would do a little something a little different, something I'm not accustomed doing. I am using this is 225 GSM paper, and I'm going to make a little folio. Why am I doing this? Because I have a little project to do with a small group of children, and I was looking for something to do that I could do with them. And this is what came to mind. And I thought, why not tape it one time? Because, why not? So the object of this is to create this in real time, because all the projects that I do before I do it with children, I practice it first. I'll know what I need. Um, if any little hiccups happen, I'll know, okay, I thought I needed this, but I actually don't. I need this instead. Things like that happen. And also, I get ideas as I go along. Maybe I could do this instead, or I could do this as well as, so all these different things happen when I'm doing these little craft projects with the children. And I needed to time myself because I have a limit. And I also I needed to make a little prototype so I'll know exactly how it would come out and what materials they would need, etc., what I could get, etc. Right. So I am using a cereal box cover to stiffen up my folio, give it a nice little backing, and also for my front cover. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to try this for so long, and I finally decided to try it. I'm gonna make it very, very simple because I want the children to be able to do it as well. So I'm using a glue stick because it's quick. Oh, what I'm also doing is I'm not going to use my glue gun because they don't have glue guns. They're not going to be with me. So I'm doing things. That's why I need to time myself and time things as well, because I want to see how long things will take to dry. And then children move a little bit slower. So I'm going to have to add on some time as well. So I know I sped up this video, but now I know, okay, I have X amount of time and they should be able to do this in a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? So I taped the middle. I left a space in the middle because I wanted to be able to open and close very, very easily. I want no bouncing. I was thinking that I didn't have to cut it and I could just fold it because it's one sheet and I cut it in half. But then I thought, no, it's actually pretty cool that I find it's able to open and close a lot easier than if I had just folded it. I'm sure folding it would be just fine, but I really like the feel of it when it opens and closes. So now I am taping the back side of it. I forgot to do that. Actually, this is the inside. I forgot to do it before I started because I was a little confused. I wasn't sure if I should add the cereal box before or after I added the tape. So I added the cereal box to the back side of it and I opened it. Now I'm painting the inside of my folio. So I'm just adding just random colors here and there. I'm painting over my tape as well. And I'm going to do the left side as well. My plan was to add a tag. But at this point, the tag is supposed to go outside. And I kind of forgot about the left inside of this folio. Honestly, I really forgot about it. So I am drying this up with the baby wipe because, as I said, I'm not using my glue gun, my heat gun, because I want to check drying time and natural drying time and all that. So in reality, this took about 2 hours to do. A little over 2 hours. A lot of it was because I wasn't sure about certain things. And that piece that I brought in there, that's going to be my tag, which is a piece from a, what do you call it? Which is packaging. So also in this project, I'm using scrap papers, which includes book pages, pages that I used to add paint on or to paint on because, I didn't want to dirty my surface. And I'm going to make some flowers. So what I'm going to do now, I'm also using brown paper. What I'm going to do now is cut some squares. So I'm just cutting off the white edges around my pages, my book pages, and then I'm folding it in a triangle to make a square so I can get my square shapes. So I'm just going to go through all these papers and just make some squares. Right, so now we're going to make the flowers. So we're folding it bottom up, then right corner to left, and then right to left to meet the edge, and then fold over the extra lip, crease it really good, and then cut a curve under the last fold that I did. So it's bottom up, right corner to left, about a third down, then right edge to middle edge, and then the back flap fold to the back, crease, and then cut my curve under my last fold. So it's bottom up, right corner to left, about a third down, right edge to middle edge, and then fold the extra piece back. That is really fast, I know. So what I could do is link a video to where I actually learned it, where it is much slower. Or if you want, you could slow it down. But the only thing is you'll hear me talking really slow. Okay. Right, so I'm just gonna fold these pages to make my the shapes for my flowers. Awesome, so now we're all done. Let's move all these things, and now I'm going to cut some strips to put on my cover. So I had the other piece that I had cut off. I'm just going to measure Here I'm trying to decide how to measure it. So I'm going to use my ruler, just the size of my ruler, to use as my measurement. So sorry. I was trying to decide if to cut it across or if to cut it down. I decided to cut it down. So I'm using my longer ruler. Again, I'm using the ruler itself as my measuring guide. So all my strips are the width of my ruler. Now we're gonna cut out all those strips, and then I'm gonna stick them on my cover, leaving a very small space in between each strip. Here I was deciding if to stick it in this fashion, but I kind of didn't like it and I felt like it would have been too difficult, too much extra to do. So I just did the vertical strips instead, and then I'm just gonna glue them down. So I'm going to leave that to dry, and now I'm opening my petals that I made and going to align them up to check to see how it looks to make my flower for inside. I do like it a lot. I like the brown against the pages. Pages happen to be, really cool colors. This smaller flower, the sizes of the petals is not exactly what I would have wanted, but for time's sake, I just thought, I'll just leave it like that and keep it moving. I decided to try making a smaller flower, or I thought I was doing a bigger one for the back, but it didn't really turn out to be bigger. So scrap that, and this is what I'm going to use as my tag, the packaging. I'm just adjusting those strips. They're still drying. Gonna put it off to the side to dry. And now I decided to cover my tag instead of like painting it. I'm going to use my scraps to cover my tag. I'm going to use brown paper. The problem is this brown paper that I have is very see-through. So that turned out to be a little problematic. But I didn't notice until after I stuck it down. But that's fine. We could still work with it. So I'm going to stick the brown paper to the back and the front. I didn't want to fold it over. I wanted the rough edges. Why? That was just my preference. I'm using my pencil to poke out the middle because I'm thinking the children are not going to have some of the tools that I have. So I'm just using what I think they could use and seeing how that works. And it's not too bad. I mean, if I wanted something super neat, I would probably be a little frustrated. But I'm okay with the messy kind of, I'm okay with the messy look. That's fine. So I'm gonna glue the back on now. The reason I punched it out before was so that I'll know where it is. And it'll be easier for me to punch out the other part. So I punched out the first layer and then stuck on the back layer. Now I could see very easily to punch out the back layer. Even though it was very clear, see through. But it's happened before where I've stuck both sides and I couldn't remember where the hole was and I had to feel around and it was just kind of a little tricky. So I thought I'd do this. So now this is me trying to cover up what we could see through the brown paper. That looked good. I actually really like how that looks. But at the time I thought I want the text to read upright instead of sideways. Why? It really didn't matter. But I felt that that's what I wanted. So I complicated things for myself by cutting it down. And then I had to get other pieces to cover it up. But that's fine. It just created more of an interesting collage. So I'm just using the different pieces. I'm edging it with the same paint that I used in my inside of the folio. Just with the paint on my finger. Just to add some color and some interest. And then I'm going to try to see if it's doable and if I could stick it down. I'm bringing another piece of paper that I found. This is one that I spritzed with food coloring, and I'm going to use it to cover up more of the background because it's still showing a lot of the card, what was previously on the card. So I'm just going to use that to kind of fill in those spaces to cover up all those extra lines and words and stuff that is on the packaging card. And it wasn't working and I was kind of getting annoyed. So I'm just going to use my finger to add some paint very haphazardly. And I'm trying not to cover the entire card because I really like the brown paper. And I'm just covering some of it, hoping to still show some of the brown paper in between. And then wrap that around and stick them down. So the paint actually worked. This piece here I'm covering with white acrylic paint because it's just too much words. I just found it was too much, so I'm just pushing it to the back. And I decided to use the smaller flower on the card. I was just offering it up to see how it looked, if it was fine, and I liked it. So now I'm sticking my flaps down finally. I felt that the flower was still missing a piece, so I'm creating a smaller piece for the inside just to see how it would look and if it would look better according to me. I know this video is a long one. I hope you all stick it out through till the end, but I mean really it's like probably 3 or 4 projects in one, from start to finish. So maybe you could create a folio of it, while we're doing it. You could do it together with me and do one of your own in your own style, in your own way. That would be really cool. But it took a long time for me because, so I'm adding some blue paint to the edge of the tip of the petal because it felt a bit plain. So again, I'm using the same colors that I have inside my folio. I'm using it throughout. What was I saying before? It took a long time because, I was figuring out some things as I went along, which is actually how I usually create. So, right. So here I'm using glitter to show that even if they don't have, any of those fancy shiny stickers to put in the middle, if they have glitter, they could just put a blob of glue and add some any color glitter of their choice. I chose black because that's what was at hand. It was in front of me, and I just thought, let's add some black to the card because I didn't have any. So that's off to the side drying, and I am now adding some lines on the strips that I cut because this is going to be like a fake door. I'm so excited. I wanted to do this so long. I've looked at so many people do different kinds. Some of them are so intricate and they look so amazing. But like I said, this one I wanted it to be very, very simple for the children. And, so I should probably have used a pencil or a pen to make these marks. But, this is what I saw at the time. So I just used it. So I'm adding some brown paint now, and I'm painting the entire thing brown. And I didn't feel like putting paint on the side and then dipping. I just put it directly onto my strips and painted. I love this brown. It's awesome. If the students don't have brown, well, we'll just make brown. Or they could actually even use a different color. They don't have to do a brown fake door. They could use red and if you decide to try it, you could do any color that you like, which is why art is so amazing. Now I'm taking a dry brush and I am just barely putting paint on it, and I'm putting my brush almost vertical on the table and pulling it down very gently, just so you'll see those strokes of paint over the brown, because we want to see the brown in between the blue. I just love it. I love it. When I was doing it, I was so excited. I know this is nothing new, but it's my first time and I'm happy and I'm excited and I love how it looks. So you see, my plan was to put the tag on the outside, and then I kept thinking, how am I going to attach it to the outside? It's so big. And then I was thinking, I don't want it to cover up the front of the door because it looks so good. So while I was thinking about that, I thought, let me put some marks inside in the meantime. So I'm doing that with an old washi tape, the remains, the cardboard that remains. So I'm using that just to add some marks. I also taped some Q-tips together. I cut them in half and then I taped them together. First time using it, so it's kind of, the cotton is very, I had to cut it off because it was just like all over. And now I'm just adding some marks using the Q-tips. I got that idea from All My Art and Soul on YouTube. I was like, oh, that is such a cool idea. I'm sure other people have done it too, but I saw it from her and I love the idea. So yay, thank you, All My Art and Soul. And then I am covering up the middle with the tape and just putting marks wherever, however. Probably you could do vines or, anything. So I'm just offering it up, seeing how I like it, how it feels in my hand. And I'm just adding a tip of glue to the middle. And now I'm trying to find a button that would go in the center. For this one, I didn't want to use black. It just felt off. That one is really nice, but I felt at the time that it wasn't very visible. So I went digging around and I found this one. This is from an old blouse that I used to wear to work. And it's it was gold and then it changed to this color, which works really nicely on this flower. It's fantastic. So don't throw away your buttons. Even if you're getting rid of your clothes, don't throw away your buttons. Now I'm just adding some more marks, some dots, and circling some of those things that I made. I was thinking for boys, which I'm going to suggest, and I will probably try it when I'm making it with them. I was thinking I could probably do some tiles and inside instead of the flowers, because I don't know, boys mightn't like the flowers. And that's my little doorknob. Isn't it super cute? I just love it. So here now I'm thinking, hey, maybe I should put the tag inside. So I'm going to stick my flower down because he keeps moving about. But I'm thinking maybe somehow I could attach it, but I wasn't sure how to because I really don't want to. And this is where I thought, I'll make a pocket. Duh. Yeah, I didn't even think of that before, honestly. I was just thinking of having it attached and having it kind of swing. That's what I was seeing in my mind. So there I was still trying to decide if to put it outside. But I went with doing a pocket inside. So I'm sticking down my big flower. Still offering it up, wondering, should I really do it? Should I? Don't know. So while I'm thinking, I'm just doing some random cleaning up. Just cutting my edges, still smoothing it out. It's still drying. And then I decide, yeah, I'll do it. So I bring in a piece of scrap that I have. I'm going to measure it against my actual page. And then I'm using the edge of the folio itself to draw my lines. And then I'm going to cut it and see how it looks. I felt like this color would look good because of the orange and the blue. Red and blue looks good. Orange and blue looks good. And this is like a fiery orangey red-ish kind of color. So I thought it would add a nice pop to the inside of the folio. I felt it was taking up too much space, so I'm going to cut it down. And I like how that looks, so I'm gluing it down. So I put glue on the sides and on the bottom. And I'm sticking that down. It's not dry, but I'm just looking at it to see how it looks. I'm holding down my side so that it doesn't move, and yeah, just testing it. Just testing it. So I found the background here was a little plain, so I'm just making some squiggly little flowers to just add a little something to the background. But as I said, for the class that I'm going to do, I think I'm going to try doing some tiles and see how that works. Give them that option so they could do that instead of flowers. Now I'm going to write my words. I can't control anyone else, but I can control myself, my thoughts, my words, my choices, my actions, my reactions. So I felt that this was very useful for children, different ages. I think different ages will process it differently, but I just wanted to add some value to this project. So it's just a reminder to them that, you know, they're And I mean, I think all of us need it at different points in our lives just to remind us, you know what? I can't really control you. I wish you would understand or would think this way, but you don't. So let me work on me. Let me control what I can control, which is my reaction to you. You know, as I tell my daughter, people will do what they want. They will say what they want. You cannot control them. It would be nice if they won't do certain things, or they would do, but we can't control them. We can't control us, how we react to them and how we react to different situations. It doesn't mean we're not going to feel sad or feel hurt or feel angry, but we still have that power to control ourselves in spite of the way that we feel. So I cut up all my words and in different lines, and now I am using, this is a piece of construction paper that I dyed with coffee, and I'm using this as a background for my words on my tag alone. And then I'm going to outline it with some black paint so that you can actually see it, because remember, my tag has a lot of words on it. So that's why also I used the plain backing for the words to help bring it out. Myself didn't really fit on the card, so I just put it on the front of the pocket. I just, I was like, you know what, it's this is where it's supposed to be anyway. It kind of fits. But that's just me. So I'm just going to edge my cards, and on the right side I'm leaving it as is, and I'm just going to outline it. I'm going to edge it with the same black paint. So I'm liking how that looks. Now it's time to add my frilly thing at the top of my tag. I was looking for a specific type of cloth that I thought I had, but I couldn't find it. So I found these strips. I was going to staple it together, but it's just too much. These are strips of cloth from sewing. Imagine I kept this. Wow. So I just pulled out one, and I'm using that to tie all together. I thought I could have tied it, around itself, but yeah, it was too short and too bulky. So I just pulled out one of these strips and I tied them all together using that. And I really like how it looks. Now I'm going to put on my doorknob. So cute. I just love it so much. I love it. And then I thought, okay, maybe I should put a title in front. It probably needs, some kind of something. But before that, I'm going to edge my tag with some black paint. Then I thought, why not edge the whole inside of the folio with the black paint. And now my button keeps shifting, but that's okay. The glue dries clear, so it's fine. I use tacky glue for this. I'm going to add a little label to the top. I'm using an oval shape. This is a piece of an index card. It's kind of thick, so I'm using it. And I'm just gonna add some color to it, similar colors to what I'm using in and on the folio. I'm going to use a baby wipe to dry it up because it was taking too long to dry. So that's what it's like now. It's not bad. And the word that I'm writing on it is control. That's the title. I'm writing it out in my paint marker. I'm gonna put the 2 dots, you know, like those what do you call it? Those labels. And I'm just putting a little border around it. And then I'm gonna edge it with a black marker again. Trim it down a bit because, you know, I can't draw curves really well. So I'm just gonna trim it down to suit what I drew. And that is it. So in essence, it's like they could use it to tuck in a book if they want, as a little reminder to them. They could stick it on their wall because it's lightweight. And in that case, I think I would need to show them how to probably do a little closure so that it doesn't swing open if they have it stuck on the wall. But you know, it's like that's their door, that's their control door, and they could choose whether to open it or keep it closed. You know, at least that's the slant I'm gonna take with them. And that's their door, that's their control. They have the control. You can open it, you can close it, but this is what is inside, and it's all in your hands. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. It's my first time. I'm so excited, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. As always, bye.